sessions with their counselor, not just in the group. But, well, yes, please.
Have you seen the movie Inside Out?
Inside Out.
This one,
Yeah.
you know how they have like Friendship Island and it's like a string that connects. So then this is kind of really bad.
Yeah. I will see it now that you mention it. Yes, sir.
You know, Richard Schwartz was a consultant on that movie.
Yeah.
Eternal Family System.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, let's give them a big hand now. Well, you can leave those here, we'll remove them later, and you can go to your seats if you want to. And have some chocolate too on the way. Treat yourself to it. Oh, wow. Pretty cool, huh? You know, if I was good at roller skating, I could jump on this. Go like sideways. You know.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Well, you left their water here. You probably don't know who you are, but we put in the trash can later.
I like that you used a lot.
So this is a good moment for me to maybe transition a little bit of showing you the materials you got, why you got them, what you got, you know, where you can maybe find other ones. So, and I'll share this along with what I've learned since 2008 till now. My agency does matrix model. Everyone does. All my counselors I train in. And so, and I've been a trainer for this around, and so a lot of other agencies have, you know, implemented it. So, is what I do. So I kept saying yesterday, and some of you were like, but we got to do the holes. It does have the holes for the 3-ring binder, but it was hard for you to notice because the face page does not have them, because it's meant to go in a 3-ring binder, and your cover page goes at the top. That's why they purposefully did it that way at Samsung. And then the rest goes into a 3-ring binder. Every counselor that comes, or peer mentor that comes through my agency gets a copy of the manual, both manuals. You know, we put both of them into one big binder, and they go through the training. It's not too much to read for the training material. It's a lot to go through this, and yes, we do this with them quite often. I probably do this twice at my agency every year. It's a refresher for some too. And we do different modules when we do these trainings. But I would like for you to think about it and keep it like a resource like that. So the prescribed way is what we have talked about in the last 3 hours together, and we'll talk about in the next hour that we're together. I have some specific tips how to do that. But I'll share with you that it's also being used in a way that maybe it's not staying true to the fidelity of the model, but it's become a training tool. Here's what I mean. When I have someone that's new from a master's program in social work, psych, or MFT, or even undergraduate programs that they come through and they want to be counselor trainees or peer mentors at the facility, I actually make them use this as a training tool. When they sit in individual sessions with their client, I have them go through the workbook with the client. Now you may say, well, that's weird, why? You know what, that's how I force you to read it. You won't read it on your own. I recommended people initially, do this on your own. pick an addiction that you have, and trust me, you do something, you know. If it's not like illegal, you have something that's legal, that you really are like passionate about. And people have picked sometimes like Facebook or this or that or soda or whatever. Do it for yourself, and that's how you learn. But because I have seen that people fail to do that, I actually force them into making those topics in their sessions every time. And when you do that with the client, you're learning then what's in this book. And if you learn what's in this book alone, you'll have enough expertise to work with someone who is seeking recovery. Sometimes we assume that our master's program gives us all these theories and we know it all. And no, I had to go outside the MFT world to learn about becoming effective in working with people with addictions. And so I'm encouraging you that if you plan to do that in your career, not all of you will, but those of you who will, you need to go outside and seek some of that training. You can do some of these things with your clients. They will work with you. What do they, I mean, you're not going to harm them. What do they know about, like part of the session, just make it every session you have one of these modules for 15 minutes. And now you help them learn something new and you learn something new. It's a way of training. But the way that it's prescribed is that you use that manual. It's a rotating program, so clients can come in any time. These modules are not interconnected in any way, shape, or form with one another. They don't build on each other. So you can have them at different times, just join the group. So the counselor's treatment manual, which you have there, tells you what to do during the whole time by breaking it down, if you notice that, in incremental minutes. What to do during that session, how to prepare for it. You can use some of the slides that you'll get from my presentation to build your modules. You can add more slides from, the counselor's manual that you pick up from there. You can develop your own stuff. My staff has done that on their own. They have developed their own things. You can add materials to it. You can really do whatever you want with it. So long as you stay within the module and educate them in that way. The other one is the counselor's family education model. So this is a 16-week program, but it gives you about 12 sessions that you really should do in an educational form with the family. You can do more, right? But you can do at least those 12 during the time that the person is going through your treatment. Then this is the time to bring in the family, and the client comes with them during that time as well. They can be conjoint sessions, or they can be group psychoeducational sessions with the families, whatever you want to do. So the matrix is kind of loosely defined that. Most of mine are individual. I don't mean individual with but with the family and the client, not in group settings with multiple families, is what I meant. So. And you can use these as a template, and we'll go through some of them as well, to kind of guide yourself. The CD that comes with it gives you a basis to start with, but if you go to SAMHSA's webpage, you are funded by SAMHSA, and you know how to get to SAMHSA's webpage. But if you go to samhsa.gov, and you actually click on publications, you'll go to the matrix, and you search matrix under publications. You'll go to a section where it groups all the matrix ones in the series, so you can search them that way. And so if you go to the matrix family education, it's not available to be mailed to you, but you can download all these videos. Now check this out. How many of you like to look cool and have video clips in your sessions or in your group sessions? Here they are. For every single one of them. For every phase of recovery. And you can prepare your PowerPoint presentations based on the manual that you have. And then you can download and involve, some of these videos that are developed for educating families on those. There's a lot of them, 5-minute clips, 7-minute clips. So we're not going to go through that here. It's not the purpose for me to show you every piece. Then we waste, I wish we could, but they are really good, and I encourage you to watch those on your own and just see what what you could use out of it. They're all free domain. You can cut them into shorter clips. That's what I do. I have a little bit of OCD, so something popped in my head, and I better say it before I forget it. Another resource that's really, really, really good is, how many of you have heard about an HBO series on addiction that was produced a few years ago? That's where some of these videos come from. The ones that I use. I would highly encourage you to purchase one. They're not expensive. Or, if you have another way to have it donated, whatever, do that too. But it's an excellent video series of experts in addiction that just gives you, it doesn't make you an expert, but it gives you enough for you to know a little bit more, or know what to look for and study, on your own, so that you become better at it. So if you go then to the SAMHSA thing, you can say, okay, I really would like to try this out. So I want to get some client handbooks, and they're out of stock. You can download them as PDF and use them that way if you have a printer at the agency or whatever. Or you can sign up and wait for, that's what my staff do. They sign up every couple of months. This will change to order now. They will be produced. And my staff sign up for notifications. They get notified. Once they're in, you can order 25 copies at a time per address. So what my staff do is they use their home address, they use their office address, they do suite A, B, C, D. I'm not kidding, that's what we do. So when you get a copy, what we do is we put a sticky note right here, or anywhere really, but we put it here because it's easy to identify. And we tell the client that this is your book, and we put your name in it. But during your course of treatment, we're going to keep this at the agency. Now, why do we do that? They always forget it. They don't bring them back. Now you end up with multiple books going to the same client, disconnected writings in there, because they're not going to transfer one from one workbook to the next workbook. So we keep them there. We write their name. We keep it in a confidential place, so when they come in for a group, we just go pull it out, hand it out to each one, and then we start the group. Now they're writing the same workbook, they're building it up, but it's theirs, and they know if they have their name in it. If they're going to their individual session with their recovery coach or their substance abuse counselor, the counselor will go pick that up, take that in session, and say, oh, let's see what you did last time in group. So you guys were talking about more in lines. Oh wow, look at what you came up with. Yeah. So how are you doing with Gustavo this week? Whatever. So, but that shows a connectedness, right? It's very important for whoever is seeing them individually, if it's not the group facilitator, even if they are, to make sure that this is incorporated in their sessions. It has to work in sync, otherwise it's disconnected and it does not work. And so, and then the clients, pay attention more. They go like, wow, they truly care what I write down, and discuss those with me. So this is just some practical tips, practical ways how you can maybe incorporate those in your work. I really do encourage you, the videos are really cool if you want to go check those out. It's very rare to find videos in our line of work that are free domain to use like that. So, alright, so I'm going to go a little bit of how I have it structured. Somebody asked me earlier, okay, if I go to my agency, what do I do? So I'm going to skip some of those, and I'm going to start the ending of the presentation a little bit backwards. So the relapse things and relapse justifications, they really are for you to read through those slides and use them in your sessions. But just for a recap, as a model, it has all these components. Can you do it without UAs? Because I hate, we don't do UAs at our agency. Yes, the PO does UAs, so you can, corroborate some of that information maybe with them. Because there's a lot of agencies that are just getting out of the business of doing urinalysis and so, but these are the components of the program. It suggests these sessions as individual sessions, primarily because, those have been identified as major issues across the board, for people. But that doesn't mean that it's limited to those sessions. But it gives you a structure of maybe where to go. You don't have to do them in the same order, but these are things that are to be addressed, For example, you will begin with orientation and service agreement that you do with them, or the contract. And there's a sample contract in the book, it's really cool, as to what they have to do. Helping checklist, for family members, there's one of those in there as well. Drugs, alcohol, and sex, it's something to be discussed with a lot of clients. Or dreams in recovery. A lot of people, just normalizing them for people. I don't say it's important, but the things that they go through. Or when they're going through the wall, to talk about the wall stage, or maybe even emotions is probably around that time. So these are just suggestive things, for the individual and the conjoint sessions that they do. Yes. This was actually given to me by one of my clients, so I'll probably share it. His biggest struggle was that he said, "You're telling me all the things I need not do." And all the new things I need to do, and promising me this wonderful thing of recovery in a few months. And telling me that in a few months I'll see the light and everything will be peachy and everything will be fine, But he said, what you don't get, to me, he said, what you don't get is that I can't see that. I just can't see what you see. And what you don't get is that it's so painful right now for me right here. Having to sit here with you and go through all of this. And what I was failing to do with this client, and this is very important, I just want to share this. So what I was failing to do is I was not acknowledging his pain on the present. I was being the hopeful guy of him where we're going. So one of the things that I've seen people make this mistake that I made, I see that with my staff too, is that this is strength-based and forward-looking, and we're kind of, okay, the recovery is coming, and I just don't want you to lose focus of that this is a huge transition for our clients, and we want to be in the present with them too, as in addition to letting them know that there is hope in the future. But that was one of my sessions with one of my clients, and I was like, wow, I went so far out, that I forgot where he was at, here. So there's, initially when they come in from, let's say, a residential facility or a detox or something, we always put every client, no matter what, going through the early recovery skills. So they go through these early recovery skills groups. There's only 8 sessions, and some we were forced to kind of put, because of client engagement, we were forced to put 2 parallel systems in place. One actually is once a week, and we just leave it there, and that's for clients who just go in and out of the system and are struggling to keep up appointments. And, so we just leave it there as a rotating group, or people who drop down maybe, because you can go up or down the system. But typically we have 2 of those a week. And so they're in a rotating basis, and clients can go in and out and complete those. And so that first month they go through the really, within a month, right? They go through the early recovery skills, and then they join the relapse prevention later. And so the relapse prevention has 32 modules. There's a couple of ones that are also optional for you to do, to add on. But if you just take a look at the array of topics discussed, it's life issues. And the what I like about it is that it addresses just about anything you want to address with clients. Now, I've had clients who say, I do really well on this, so I don't really know why I'm here tonight. What would you do with that client?
Tell me about how.
Yes,
Tell me about
I
how
use
it
them.
is. You're great.
I use them in that group to help somebody else. Now they are like, oh yeah, I actually know you could teach this one. Because I may know that they really are good at that. They may be my client. I know you could teach this one, so I'm going to have you teach it with me. Let's share with other people, you know, how you did it. And then you add on things that you, so you could really, you know, because not all my clients want to be there with me, all right? And they're not going to want to be there with you either. Because it's not personal, it's not us. It's a systemic issue sometimes. It's a program that they have to complete. But they really do do a great job. It's written, you know, at a 6th to 8th grade level. I believe it has an exact grade level in there written, but it's written in a way that is simple. Now I've seen workbooks that is so complicated I have to read it 5 times to get it. I'm not kidding. And when I think of my client doing that, it's so difficult. And this one is really simple. It's really simple to use, simple to understand. I mean, the questions are easy, you know, with clear instruction, brief, and that's what I like about it, and it doesn't make it difficult. And for each module, it's kind of cool that it has those things. It has those visuals, so I wanted to show you this one. Anybody remember what module was stress? Huh?
Recognizing stress?
Yeah, 20?
20.
Yeah, look at that. Now, can you come up with some props in your office that you could maybe replace that? It may not be a car, it may be like a broken... a lot at my office we have broken chairs and broken tables. And I have made those into props to use. It's a stressed, you know. And so you can use some of these visuals. Think about the exercise you just did. I've been talking now for, what, 20 minutes. You'll probably retain maybe one word of what I said. Something has clicked for one of you or 2 or 3. The rest of you are not even remember what I said. But you remember that, right? Hey, I'm not saying you're not required to remember everything, you know, but hopefully you pick up things as you go. But you remember that, you know. Well, you'll remember this stress scar, and some of you will go there and say, oh yeah, let me look at that. But let me see what else they have. So using those visuals is really, really important as you're delivering this model. Or any model. All right, another one that I do is going to be like our last time we get up and stretch. All right, so let's, anybody can do it, but I want the rest to get up and watch. So stand up, please. And then you guys do. You guys look forward, you will be part of the exercise. Now what I really do with people that are showing commitment issues, with people that are going in and out of recovery, with people that are not committed to go to meetings, it's a commitment, right? It's a commitment. What I really do is my chairs are smaller than this. We're not as rich.
Tuition costs more.
So what I have them do is I have them walk like this, you know, through my chairs. We're going to not do that for safety reasons. So what I'm going to have you do is I just improvise this again in a different way. Is that I'm going to have the 4 of you go like this. One side. And I want you to do that until you retire. Good. Whenever you're tired of doing it, you can go back to your... You will do
I
that
don't
too.
know.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, wow, we made it. I know, right? Now, guess what?
Whoops, sorry.
And they look at me and they go, and I'm not gonna tell them what to do.
Until you're.
Yep.
I'm not gonna tell them what to do. They know what they're doing. And they still keep on doing it. Isn't that amazing? I'm even commenting about it. And they're even trying to make it a race. Hey, who's the quitters? Who's the quitters? You quitted? Oh man. And that's what I do to guilt them, to go right back in. Are you done too?
Yeah.
Looks like you're not done yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty over
How was it? Awkward? You kept going on one side and the other and around the chairs and the other. And so I just want you to think about it. I do this in the middle of any module that I'm talking about commitment. And what am I trying to say? What is it that they should have learned from this maybe?
It's hard to not be ambivalent.
Huh?
It's hard, like they were.
No, you're right. Keep going.
Ambivalence was the word that came to mind.
Yes, they were pretty ambivalent about when do I stop? Do I stop? I don't know when to stop. Okay, what else were they doing?
Commitment, it feels like, can feel, I can't think of the word. Like, you're just doing something over and over again and it doesn't necessarily feel like there's an end in sight. and
It's
they're
not
just
an
doing the
end.
same
Yeah, you just keep going. And one of the things that I try to do, like with the chairs, why they have to cross over like this, is that they keep going, they keep one foot in recovery and one foot in active addiction. Or they say, I'm gonna go to meetings, but then I'm not gonna go to meetings. Or I'm gonna come see you, but I'm not gonna come see you. Or I'm gonna be a better parent now and go to these kids' activities, but then last week I forgot and I just kind of went out with Joe or Gustavo rather than go to my kids' activities. So you look at commitment issues and you think about, you try to make them feel like, you know, because what they're gonna remember is going from recovery to addiction, back and forth and back and forth. Or relapsing in a certain behavior back and forth. They come on this side and they're really playing the role that they need to play, but then they change their mind and they go over there to Gustavo, you know, or back and forth. You can treat this with any commitment issue really. But the easiest way, and it's funny, these guys did not stop even as I was talking with you, that I told them to stop whenever they were done. They just kept on doing it. And the clients will keep on doing the same. And sometimes I'll sit down and they'll just watch them and they go, yeah? And they go, whenever you're tired, you know? And so we process that. So I asked you guys, whenever you're tired, you can stop, but you kept on going one side to the other, you know? Huh? Nothing different. Say it out loud, what was it?
I was ready to stop as soon as it started.
Yeah, you're right, that's when it started. So, but if you were doing this, you know, and if you were talking about some non-commitment issue that you were facing in your own life, forget the clients, and your counselor had you do this, what's your takeaway? As stupid as this may seem, what's your takeaway? Anyone?
Something that I thought about is, I'm going to guess that you were tired of it before you finished, but just being in like the patterns and the cycles of kind of being in it, kind of not being in it, and not getting the result you want. You may be tired of it, you may be sick of not getting the result you want, but you still stay in the same pattern and you keep doing the same things. You're not, even though you're tired of the result you're getting, you're still not like committing or
But you still keep going
You
back
still
and
still
forth.
keep doing it, yeah, so that's something, that's, I think the image that kind of stuck out.
Yeah, yeah, anybody else? Yeah.
I like how it kind of just normalizes the pattern of like going back and forth, because I feel like even with things that aren't necessarily addictions, just like things that I struggle with, that I feel like at times I'm like, why am I not just like getting away from this altogether? You know, like why do I keep kind of like going back and forth?
back and forth.
If I've learned how to deal with this, why do I keep falling back into it?
Right.
Like that kind of thing. And so,
Right.
but that seems to be normal for all sorts of things.
All
that we
sorts
deal
of things,
with.
yeah.
So.
I just thought of how you saying, you know, they had a choice to stop, and I think that's kind of what it comes down to, is you do have that choice to stop teetering and start picking a side.
Excellent point, yeah.
That's what I was, like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's your choice.
It's their choice.
Yeah.
You can stop. You don't have to beat yourself to it. I mean, I share with them, and some of them say, "Oh, my legs are hurting from having to jump over the chairs," and I go like, "That's what you're doing to yourself psychologically and spiritually. That you keep hurting yourself by going back to Mandy." I had a guy, Mandy, beat him every day, literally, physically. She beat him every day. Her name was Amanda. Even as a victim, he called her my Mandy. Even while he was, and he kept going back for more every time. I mean, she would give him drugs and then she would beat him up, you know? And he kept going for more. And he's like, that's what I keep doing, that I just don't get it. I keep going back, you know? I mean, there's a lot of different things you can use it in, but I think trying to make the analogies that you all have just made, like going back, or that I know what to do to stay.
What about the biological component? I'm sorry. Because you know how they talk about like
Yeah.
addiction as like a disease of the brain?
Uh-huh.
At some point, like where is it really a choice? Or is it just kind of like that biological drive?
I tell people that when you go through treatment and you understand that this is a disease of the brain, and you understand what you could do to stay sober, and you are aware of resources that you need to do, it may take some time for you to get there, right? You're still going to relapse. But you know what you need to do, and you should make that choice to get in recovery. Getting in recovery is a decision, is a choice that they have to do. And so, who had a hand up? I'll come to you in 1 minute. My best friend, the person in recovery himself, his daughter wrote a letter and said, "Dada, I know from Mom that you're an alcoholic. And I know that alcohol is bad for you." This is a true story. This is one of my best friends. And I want to beg you to quit. Because you're not here with me now because you're an alcoholic. Now think about that. You writing that to your dad. Or your child writing that to you. That's some of the people that parents understand that. It's perfect. And you would assume that my friend would take that letter and throw out, dump in the toilet, every beer he's got in his phone. You know, every beer bottle, I mean, he would just dump all the alcohol out, and at that moment, stop using drugs, or alcohol, I should say, in this case. In fact, what did he do? What did he do? He took that letter and went to the bar, crying over that letter. You know, it's a joke. It's a joke. So, but you can use it as an analogy, right, even with that, to commit to recovery, to stay here. Yeah. But I hope it helps you that. They're not going to make that switch right away. Bless you. Now go ahead.
There's something that I always think about, this quote kind of, insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. And so a lot of times clients come in with the idea of, sometimes they feel like therapists have this power to say, I want you to change, right? And I think by normalizing, having those analogies and knowing that you can stop anytime, but there's this thing inside of them that's just like with everybody, right? You know, it makes sense that, you know, his daughter is like reaching, that was a sense like an olive branch, like, hey, I'm here for you, I see what's going on, but in his head, it was difficult. So I just think that that quote always comes to mind is like, sometimes you're stuck in a cycle and it's hard to get out of it, unless you reach out for that lifeline.
And some people use defense analogy, right? Their own defense, you know. And you can use whatever props, but I do a lot of things like this just to get people to remember. It doesn't matter how much I talk, but they're going to remember something like that, you know. I've done other things too, all of them nice things, clean things, but I can't share all the things that I do with you. But I do things with them that are physical for them to understand what they're going through, in order for them to really get it, you know, and remember it, and maybe make change, you know, over that process. So, well, we can go back to our seats. We've got 10 more minutes, and I'm always aware of time. So I don't like to go a minute over. Let's see what this is.
In all honesty, I really wanted,
Okay. All right, so so the whole idea really of the program is to try to have all of these activities in place. I mean, I mentioned a word earlier. I use all of these with my clients, but I talked about structure. Having structure in recovery is very important. I mean, addiction thrives in chaos. I'm mentioning this for my 3rd time today, just because I really want you to remember it. Recovery thrives in structure.